Welcome to AHRC TV's weekly roundup. In this week's program, Aung San Suu Kyi and her NLD party heading for stunning landslide victory 25 years after the last one. Official results yet to be released. Nepal Universal Periodic Review recommendations have been announced. 4 Hong Kong publishers disappeared after publishing books critical of mainland leaders. Welcome to AHRC TV's weekly roundup. I'm Josephina Bergsten. Historic national elections have concluded in Burma with a stunning landslide victory for Aung San Suu Kyi's National League for Democracy party, known as NLD. Despite some serious flaws to the election process that prevented thousands of people from voting, notably ethnic minorities in border regions, the Rohingyas in the westernmost Burma, as well as overseas Burmese people, observers have already declared the election to be reasonably free and fair. This election comes 25 years after Aung San Suu Kyi's last landslide election victory, which the military junta refused to recognize and which resulted in around 2 decades of house arrest for Suu Kyi. 2 months after the 1990 election, where NLD won a substantial majority, the military announced that they would not accept the results and suspended the 1974 constitution. Burma thereby remained without a constitution until 2008. In this week's election, it is clear that NLD has won a significant majority of the votes. But final election results are being declared slower than expected, making Burmese people worry about the willingness of the military to hand over the reins of government, with some fearing a repeat of 1990. Nevertheless, at the time of this program's recording, about 47% of seats have been declared, with the NLD taking over 90% of the vote. The ruling party has been humiliated, winning a mere 7% of the seats declared so far. There are 168 contested seats in the upper house of parliament and 330 in the lower house, although 7 of the lower house seats were cancelled due to fighting breaking out with insurgent groups in border areas. So in total, 491 seats are being contested in both houses. This does not include the 25% of seats that are automatically reserved for the military. The NLD only needs to win 67% or 329 seats across the 2 houses to gain a majority. It seems all but certain that NLD is indeed heading for a significant majority. Suu Kyi has already written to the leadership requesting talks on national reconciliation, while Burma's President Thein Sein has congratulated Aung San Suu Kyi's opposition party on its success in the polls. He has said that any such meeting can only take place after the final results have been announced. For more on the national elections in Burma, AHRC TV speaks with Aung San Suu Kyi, International Relations Officer, Human Rights Defenders and Promoters, who was on the ground during the campaign period and monitored the polling station. We also speak with AHRC's Basil Fernando. Over to them.
Two near Suraga, the Tama Bidu Yare Niari, Napaisi, Tama Bidu Yare when sit the Alumniari and Napaisi. The Paya Tama Bidu Yamaro, Mayo Gurika, through Pete Harry, how did you get the Mapina Naria? Now the Sagadi, General Tamro, the Tayeni, Yeta in Yare Niarima, Digaro, who are through Digaro. Layman Sui, the Bounty Ashes, or Chowla Nima, maybe by Michi, Harichi, to just out of Arma, the Nanjani Chile. At the Nanjanima, the Nana Nea Lizago, made Piranima, maybe kind of she. Maybe kind of she is down to her party at Nana or her party at Naiware. Suya Poima, the Lehi Anayare, Suya Poyani, Auya Sitagani. Sojo Mumi Anna, Lupi Pam last to the house. Diga Suino, people with Jarama, and the other Aita in the Jania. Digaro Anna Lujawi, in the Dane Anna Lujawi. Naya were the Norodi, Miradino with the Poet Joka, Suya Pona and Hama 90. 90 Aluham, you ညင်သာသာနဲ့အာဏာလွှဲပြောင်းပေးပါမလားနောက်တစ်ချက်ကနေ့ကတနေ့ကဒေါ်စန်းစုကြည်ကလွှတ်တော်နာယကတွေကာကွယ်ရေးဦးစီးချုပ်တွေနိုင်ငံတော်သမ္မတတွေတွေ့ကြတောင်းထားတဲ့ကိစ္စတွေရှိတဲ့အခါမှာကာကွယ်ရေးဦးစီးချုပ်ကလည်းသူကဒီလွှတ်တော်လုပ်ငန်းတွေပြီးမှပဲတွေ့မယ်ဆိုတဲ့အကြောင်းပြန်မှုတွေရှိတယ်ပေါ့လေဒါအချိန်ဆွဲမှုတစ်ပိုင်းလားဒီအာဏာလွှဲပြောင်းရေးမှာညင်သာသာမှဖြစ်ပါမလားတူလို့ပေါ့ဘာလို့လဲဆိုတော့90ရောကလည်းဒီခံရတဲ့တာရခါတွေရှိတဲ့ကြောင့်ပြည်သူတွေမှာAPP နောက်ပိုင်းမှာအရင်ဆိုရင်ဒီအာဏာလွှဲပြောင်းရေးပါပြီးဆုံးသွားတယ်ဆိုတာလူထုကလည်းဒီ2015မှာသူကအဓိကတော့အကြောင်းလေးကြီးကိုရချစ်ချင်တယ်လူထုဆန္ဒမှာဘာလို့လဲဆိုတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့မဲပေးတဲ့နေ့မှာလူထုတွေရဲ့ဆန္ဒကိုတွေ့ရတာဒါညနေ4နာရီမနက်4နာရီလေးကမဲရုံမှာစောင့်ပြီးတော့မဲပေးတာကိုကြည့်ရမယ်လူထုကလည်းဒါကိုအညှိုးတကြီးနဲ့ဒီမှာတစ်ဖက်ကိုအညှိုးတကြီးနဲ့ဒါဟိုပါပေါ့သူတို့ရဲ့စိတ်ကြောင်းနေတဲ့စိတ်ကအရင်ကြီးတဲ့အညှိုးတကြီးနဲ့သူတို့ပေါ်ပြလိုက်တဲ့ပုံစံမျိုးပဲဒီကတော့ပြည်သူတွေရဲ့ဆရာထက်တနာတစ်ပိုင်းကြောင်းလဲကိုလိုချင်တာတစ်ပိုင်းနောက်တစ်ပိုင်းကဒီမဲယုံမှုတွေကမဲယုံလုပ်ငန်းစဉ်တွေနားမလည်ပေမဲ့မှန်ကန်လုပ်သွားတဲ့အပိုင်းတွေအများစုတွေ့ရပါတယ်
The victory won by the Aung San Suu Kyi and her party NLD is a historic victory and further assertion by the people of Myanmar of their will to for democracy. Already they expressed the same will in 1988. It is the same proportions we find that the people's voting showing the overwhelming desire to return to democracy. So far the president attitude of congratulations and accepting the victory we hope will be a sign that the military make use of this occasion to ensure that the country does not suffer anymore. This country has have suffered at every level. People have suffered, thousands have been in prisons, many have been dead and people have suffered economically. The level of poverty is a sad reflection for a country that could have been enormously prosperous. The social life of the country has suffered a great deal. The Myanmar is in a situation if its educational institutes really function to produce the type of talent needed to run their professions efficiently. In the past have shown the enormous capacity that the people one time developed and all this has been lost. The schools are a sad reflection of enormous loss, not just in buildings and things like that, but in the character and the quality of the people. Any walk around the country, one could see that compared to the other countries around, Myanmar has suffered a great deal. So it is time for change and it is time to decisively allow this misery to end, and we hope that with the realization of the huge potential for everybody to develop, the military will open up and allow the new government to function so that we will begin to see another vibrant democracy and a vibrant economic system and culturally and socially enormous change will take place. The condition for that has happened. People have spoken. Now it is time for those who wield power to show their respect for their countrymen.
Nepal is next in the program. As reported last week, Nepal underwent a universal periodic review on November 4th. This was the second UPR for the country. The third one is due in August 2020. As Nepal largely failed to implement the recommendations provided in the first UPR cycle, the same recommendations have now been proposed during the second cycle. Here are the recommendations from the member states.
With respect to continued reports of torture, arbitrary detention, extrajudicial and summary executions, New Zealand recommends that all such allegations be promptly investigated and prosecuted and the perpetrators punished. New Zealand also recommends Nepal accede to the optional protocol to the Convention Against Torture. New Zealand furthermore recommends Nepal investigate and prosecute those who committed human rights violations on both sides of the country's civil war and provide reparations to victims in line with international standards under the newly formed Truth and Reconciliation Commission.
The delegation would like to recommend Nepal may continue to ensure the implementation of ratified human rights treaties and to continue to implement policies for women development under SDGs.
However, Portugal recommends that Nepal amends its National Human Rights Commission Act in order to guarantee the independence and financial autonomy of this commission.
We recommend that the government of Nepal consider extending a standing invitation to the mandate holders of all special procedures of the Human Rights Council. Second, we recommend that the government of Nepal ensure the effective functioning of the National Human Rights Commission in accordance with the Bari principles, in particular by providing the Commission with required and adequate levels of funding as well as sufficient autonomy.
The government of Nepal has made praiseworthy efforts to eliminate racial discrimination in that country, in particular by elaborating a comprehensive plan of action for the zero-tolerance policy against caste discrimination. We recommend that it give particular attention to the plan aimed at eliminating the worst forms of child labor by 2016 and all forms of child labor by 2020. However, Switzerland is concerned at the excessive use of force by the security forces in managing demonstrations. Switzerland recommends to Nepal that it guarantee respect for the principles of proportionality and necessity in every use of force in conformity with the United Nations basic principles on the use of force and firearms. We remain concerned at the incompatibility of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission and the Commission on Disappearances with Nepal's international obligations. Switzerland recommends to Nepal that it execute the judgment of the Supreme Court of 26 February 2015 as soon as possible. During the first cycle, Switzerland recommended to the government of Nepal to eliminate caste-based discrimination. Despite the promulgation of a law to that effect in 2011, cases of discrimination remain widespread and under-investigated. Switzerland recommends to Nepal that it establish a concrete strategy for the full implementation of the law on caste-based discrimination.
We note some progress on the UK's previous recommendations, including on transitional justice mechanisms. However, serious concerns remain about amnesty provisions and time limits that could inhibit the filing of complaints. No legislation has been adopted to criminalize torture, and the draft bill is not in line with international standards. We recognize steps taken to address violence and discrimination against women and girls, but encourage further implementation of the national action plans and increased action to reduce the high numbers of child, early and forced marriages. We recommend, first, remove or at least extend the 35-day statute of limitations for reporting rape cases. Second, strengthen the rule of law by establishing an independent complaints commission capable of investigating and prosecuting complaints against the security forces. Thank you, Mr. President.
And now on to Hong Kong and China. 4 Hong Kong publishers appear to have disappeared from different locations. Many suspect that they have been detained by Mainland China authorities. The 4 are known for publishing sometimes sensationalist books, critical of Communist Party leaders and their families and cronies. Sage Bookstore in Hong Kong, located in the shopping district Causeway Bay, and the outlet for the publishing house Sage, has now been closed since October. According to a report by Radio Free Asia, this closure follows Sage parent company owner Gui Haiming, a Swedish citizen, failing to return from a holiday in Thailand. Shortly thereafter, Lu Bo, the company's general manager, and Zhang Xiping, an employee, also went missing while visiting mainland China. It has now been reported that Lin Rongji, the bookstore's manager, is also missing. Sage's catalogue includes books about the sordid private lives of Communist Party leaders, including Xi Jinping, and are popular with mainland Chinese tourists who only have access to Communist Party-approved publications at home. The suspected detentions of these 4 publishers come in the wake of the trumped-up charges and sentencing of publisher Yu Manting last year, as well as the recent trials of Hong Kong journalist Wang Jiangmin and Gui Zhongqiao. Human rights defenders and journalists have expressed grave concern about these latest suspected detentions of Hong Kong media personnel. Hong Kong has long been known for its vibrant and free media landscape, but increasing self-censorship has caused the Special Administrative Region to plummet in the rankings of the Press Freedom Index in recent years. That is all for this weekly roundup. For more on these and other issues, please visit www.humanrights.asia. Thank you for watching, and see you again next week.